You don't know how excited I am to talk about this player here that we're featuring in a Why I Want video for the 2020 NHL Entry Draft. No, we're not talking about Cole Perfetti, we're not talking about Anton Lundell, we're not talking about Jamie Drysdale or Noel Guhle. We're talking today about probably the most obscure guy that I've made a Why I Want about since the Dominic Fansoris and Oliver Oculiers of the world. Let's talk today about Michael Benning, a guy who I want who is eligible for the 2020 NHL Entry Draft. Who is Michael Benning? Well, he is a 5'10", 174-pound right-handed defenseman playing out of the Sherwood Park Crusaders hockey team in the AJHL. The AJHL is Junior A hockey in Alberta, so it's the same tier as the BCHL, the SJHL, and the OJHL. Benning is a guy born on January 5th, 2002, making him 18 years old and making him eligible for the 2020 NHL Draft. What makes him so special? Well, first off, let's talk about the last name. He's a Benning. Jim Benning, the Vancouver Canucks general manager, is his uncle, interestingly enough, and his cousin is Braden Benning, who is a Vancouver Canucks amateur scout. Michael Benning's older brother, Matt Benning, is actually a defenseman playing for the Edmonton Oilers right now. He's played 43 games this season, 70 games last season, 73 before that, so he's a legit NHL defender. Now, what exactly is there to Michael Benning's profile as a prospect, aside from his family connections? Well, we talked about it. He's a right-handed defenseman playing out of the AJHL, and this past season for the Sherwood Park Crusaders, he posted up 75 points in 54 games. Pretty good. He was the highest scoring D-man in the league, and he has been in this position where he has been one of the top defensemen for a while. Last season, he had 61 points in 60 games played for the same Sherwood Park Crusaders team, putting himself in some very, very, very nice company. You can kind of hear the smile on my face right now as I try to pull up the historical numbers to compare defenders who are 17, 18 years old at this level. Let's compare draft minus 1 years. When Michael Benning put up 61 points in 60 games played, he had a 1.02 points per game, and that was his draft minus 1 year. There's another defenseman who recently put up a 1.02 points per game in his draft minus 1 year in the same AJHL league. His name is Cale Makar. Now, Michael Benning's production this season, 75 points in 54 games, for a 1.39 points per game in his draft year. There is another defenseman for the AJHL to put up the exact same stat line as Michael Benning did in his draft year as well, and his name is Cale Makar. Okay, I know what you're thinking. What the heck is this? There's a right-handed D-man playing in Alberta, Jim Benning's nephew, who's put up the exact same statistical production in his draft year and his draft minus 1 year as one of the best young NHL defenders in the game today in Cale Makar. How crazy is that? Now, despite this, despite the production, despite the numbers, despite the statistical comparisons, obviously you have to take a look at it. Makar had 24 goals. Benning had 12 goals. Benning is more of a playmaker than Makar was, and Benning has his own skills that separate him from the Cale Makar-like player that we know and love today. But Michael Benning's profile wasn't actually all too great in the eyes of those doing all the mock drafts, etc. Michael Benning is ranked 74th by Future Considerations. He's the 57th best North American skater according to NHL Central Scouting, and EliteProspects.com has him ranked at 66th. That means that TSN and Bob McKenzie, they don't have him ranked. HockeyProspect.com, they don't have him ranked either, nor do McKeen's or ISS. Michael Benning is just completely off the radar here, and a lot of that does have to do with his overall projectability as a prospect, as well as the production itself. Now, don't get me wrong, the production itself is not bad. It's literally the same thing as what Cale Makar did. But the Sherwood Park Crusaders this past season played with so many good players that these numbers are a little bit tainted. For example, Arjun Atwal is the top point producer in the AJHL. He was playing on this team. Carter Savoy, who was going to be drafted this season as well, he's also playing on this team. He had 99 points. He was the second best point producer in the entire league. So already the best two players, statistically speaking, in the entire AJHL are on this team, along with the best scoring D-man too. So you could understand why there's a little bit of a tainted opinion when it comes to Michael Benning. Also the fact that he's a little bit on the smaller side, and the reasoning that a lot of the things that made Cale Makar's game so great aren't necessarily so prolific in Michael Benning's profile. Michael Benning is a guy who can skate pretty well, and he observes and acknowledges the game around him very nicely. He reacts to situations appropriately, and he usually knows what to do. His passing game is strong, but he can work on his shot a little bit more. The thing is, Cale Makar is a guy who is absolutely dynamic in a sense that Michael Benning is not. Cale Makar can shift on a dime, change things up, and drill a puck towards the net with absolute force. Michael Benning is a different kind of player, who's a little bit safer than Cale Makar was, but also a little bit less dynamic. The numbers are great, but a lot of what he has done on the ice has put into the minds of scouts at least that his value to a team as a player is not the same as what a Cale Makar brings. Despite that though, Michael Benning is a guy who is going to go to college in 2 years. It says on Elite Prospects that his University of Denver campaign will start up in 2021-2022. I don't know what he's going to do for 2020-2021. Maybe he goes over to the USHL and plays for the Dubuque Fighting Saints, which drafted him in the second round in 2018. One thing to note though, that Carter Savoy is also going to the University of Denver. He's going to be alongside of Detroit Red Wings prospect Antti Tuomisto. That's going to be very interesting to talk about over there. And Michael Benning, if he's a guy who comes over to the NCAA system in 2 years and does well, he can really prove himself as a player much more worthy than the second or third round projection that people are portraying onto him at the moment. To me, Michael Benning projects as a top 4 D-man in the NHL because the skills he has honestly fare kinda well. His bloodline suggests that of an NHL caliber family, and his brother is already playing National Hockey League games. Benning, to me, in the AJHL, has shown off time and time again that he can do very well, that he doesn't need Carter Savoy and all the other good guys on the team to be a good player, and that his own individual skills are good enough to say, yeah, I don't see this guy slipping out of the third round in the NHL Entry Draft. To me, if he's available from 60 and beyond, you take him. To me, if he's available at 50, you start having conversations about this player. And to me, the numbers are so good that if somebody came up to me and said, yeah, you know, we're thinking about taking this guy in the top 25, I wouldn't really be super against it. Because the way he plays in the AJHL, he just dominates that competition. He's so much better than all the other AJHL players that he goes up against night in and night out that, to me, there's honestly nothing more that he could have done. The skills are going to be there, and whatever team drafts him is going to have a chance to develop those skills. The skills that he does have and the skills that he has shown, they're not the same as Cale Makar's, but the on-ice results are similar. Of course, I'm not going to say he's elite right away. I know the title potentially implies that I'm saying that, but don't worry, that was just to get the attention of the viewers. But in all honesty, Michael Benning does have an untapped ceiling that could be so much better than what people are giving him credit for. And these skills, the projectability, the fact that he is so smart with the puck, puts him into the conversation for me to say that, yeah, I would absolutely love to take this guy with a draft pick. Bring him to Vancouver or wherever, and let this guy become amazing. So that was Michael Benning. Jim Benning's nephew, and Cale Makar's statistical comparison in the AJHL. Comment down below what you think about this prospect. I hope you enjoyed this video. Social that Trost99, and bye.